Let me tell you a quick secret that real estate investors don't talk about. You don't just make money when you buy real estate, you make money when you keep it. Yes, I have seen so many investors that jumped into the market since 2020 and now they are jumping right out of it because they don't know how to keep it. And in order to experience the true financial freedom that you want to experience, like traveling the world and having total financial freedom, you got to keep it. And so this interview that I did last year with Dr. Joe out of DC, it is everything you need. Dr. Joe has been a real estate investor for over 30 years, y'all. And now he is living his best life. He retired a long time ago and now spends his entire year traveling and sharing with other investors on how to stay in the game. This episode is everything, and this is just one of the many conversations that happen when you get in the room. So listen to the conversation, and don't forget that early bird tickets expire for the Owning and Living It Experience May 31st at the end of this month. So don't forget to visit www.owningandlivingitexperience.com to grab your early bird ticket ASAP before they run out. Okay, so now let's tune into the episode. Gonna be great. Yeah, y'all know if you catch me Monday through Friday, I have on sweats and a hoodie. But when it's time to dress up, I understand the assignment. Okay, I love it. How was lunch? All right. Y'all feeling good? Y'all looking good? I mean, it took me so much to not come out here and join y'all a minute ago. Oh my gosh. All right. So this next one, y'all, is going to be a good one. All right. So when we think about, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. Yesterday I turned 40, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I turned 40. Yes. Aww. 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 Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. So you know how it is when you have another birthday, you really reflect on your life, right? You reflect on where you are right now, your choices. Are you in a place where you are really proud of the decisions you made? And so I'm just reflecting over the last 10 years because next year will be my 10th year as a full-time entrepreneur real estate investor. 10 years, y'all, full-time. No W-2 job in the background. Okay? And as I reflect on that, I think about, the times I wanted to give up. The times that I wanted to just throw in the towel when it got too hard, when finances were tight, whatever it was. And I'm so glad I didn't, because not only did I think about just the impact that my family has had by having financial options and traveling and all that kind of stuff, what I really thought about was the impact we've had on our community. I thought about how we've been able to, employ our family members. We've been able to create jobs through various companies, whether it's our brokerage, our landscaping company, our education company. We've been able to literally help people take care of their own families, even internships with the youth. And all of that does not take place if you give up, right? And so I'm super excited to introduce our next guest. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. You heard about him in the last video. So let me introduce you to one of my mentors now. I call him Uncle Joe. Y'all can call him Dr. Joe. I call him Uncle Joe. But Dr. Joe is a seasoned real estate investor and educator with over 35 years of experience in real estate in both buy and hold single-family rentals in one of the United States' most expensive markets as well. After leaving a successful corporate career with Fortune 100 companies, he built a top-performing portfolio focused on profitability and social impact. Known for his expertise with Section 8 housing, Dr. Joe now teaches others how to invest strategically to create long-term financial freedom. Okay, so you guys got to stand up and give a round of applause for Dr. Joe.
Who's calling it? Who's calling it?
Hey, 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 hey.
Yeah, OVO sound.
Yes.
Wow.
So glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You were just, where were you just yesterday?
Oh, yesterday I was in the Commonwealth of Dominica, which is in the Eastern Caribbean.
Love it.
And I was there until 6, oh God, I forgot now. I've been traveling for 24 hours, so I haven't slept.
He's really been traveling. You've been traveling all year.
Yeah, I've been to quite a few countries so far. I've been to Ghana, I've been to Trinidad, I've been to Cancun, been to Dominica, and
You've been to Mexico?
Mexico, yeah, I've been one of those countries. So my goal is to do 6 countries this year.
Love it.
Trying.
You got one more to go. I love it. So you've been traveling all year because you get to live off the rewards of your investing. And so you're new to some people here, and to some people they're just now hearing about you, right? And so what I love about you is that you've been through so many real estate cycles. You've been through the recessions, you've been through the booms,
Yeah.
you've been through the crashes, all the things in between. So what I want to start off with during our time is take us back 30
Oh
years
my
ago,
God.
1995.
1987.
1987. Ooh, okay, 1987. In the very beginning, what made you, what was a seed that made you initially interested in real estate?
It's kind of interesting. I was born in Ghana, and went to England when I was 5 years old, and came to the U.S. in October the 17th, 1985, at 7:30 on TWA 5732.
Wow, my mama's
Anyway,
belly.
so what happened was that I came here. I was transferring my job in London to here, and my boss, within 6 weeks of me arriving here, was fired. Not for anything he did wrong. It was just that he was a classic corporate guy. He worked really hard, and but he was just let go because there was a reorganization within the company. And so what happened was that we had lunch a few weeks later, and this was the genesis of it all. This guy had 10 houses at the time. I just couldn't fathom. I mean, who does this? One house, yeah, two possibly, but 10. What's going on? And he said to me, Joe, you see what's happened to me? This could just as well happen to you. I have a plan B. I have these rental properties. And so you may want to consider looking into real estate because what could happen to me could happen to you. And I'm okay. I have this residual income coming through. And he said to me, this was really, whatever you do, look into real estate. If you buy anything, make sure you keep it. Don't sell it. And that's really what prompted all this. And to fast track that forward, I bought a house shortly thereafter, which I can talk to you later on. It was a disaster. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I had the tenant from hell. My due diligence was zero. I met some guy at some meeting. At that time, I've been in the US a couple of years. I thought all Americans were honest. So I went to a meeting. He said, I've got a house to sell. And, they have these tenants in there. I said, well, the tenants are like, oh, man, they're great. And so I bought the house based on that. And after I bought the house, I found out that they hadn't paid him for 3 months. There's a $5,000 water bill. They were going to sell the house in a tax lien. And that was my entree to real estate. Without boring you the details, I kept on going. I turned that thing around and bought another one until 2003 when I was working at IBM.
Okay.
And so my income at IBM equaled my rental income from my properties. So I was able to transition from then to now what I've been doing now.
Yeah.
And that's really what planted the seeds. Is this guy, he says, whatever you do, hold on to the houses. And there are many a time when I'm saying, what in the world am I doing?
Well, that's what we're getting to next. Okay, that's good. I love that. So that exposure to someone who thought a little differently helped to plant the seed for you to be able to consider this as a backup plan.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything. I mean, everybody here probably knew 10 times, 100 times more than what I knew when I bought my first house. I knew nothing, okay? And I just did it based on what this guy said.
Right.
And sometimes you don't know. You just go out there and you take action.
Yeah.
And you deal with the issues as and when they arrive.
Yeah.
I didn't have an Erica to fall back on. There are many times when I was saying, oh my God, where's my mummy? I want to go home.
I can't help you.
Well, I stuck it out, and
Right.
It turned out okay.
Yes, it did. It turned out very well. So you've been through multiple cycles. You've had different situations with tenants.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure you dealt with lots of issues. I love to hear what made you. Well, give me a story where it was really, really, really hard, right? And talk to me about a moment where you almost walked away from real estate, and then what made you stay? Like, it got really hard.
I mean, the first one, I kind of brushed on it. So it was hard. I mean, these tenants were very religious. I used to knock on the door asking for rent, and they would say to me, don't worry, young man, according to Matthew 28, verse 15, God is good. Don't worry, have faith. Your rent will come.
Have faith and you're going to get your rent next month. Okay.
This is going on and on and on, for several months. I mean, I had no money, and I didn't know anybody in the country. And, at times I said, what am I doing? Where do I go from here? And it was very, very frightening.
Yeah.
And So I always quit at that point. But then I kept listening to that guy who was saying, whatever you do, hold on to these properties. And luckily I lived in, I mean, I buy primarily in Washington, D.C., which is an appreciating market, which is probably
Do we have any DC folks in the house? All right.
Right. So, I mean, many of us, I'm sure, live in markets which is appreciating. So what it is that whenever you start, it's always expensive. You know, you're always thinking, you know, it's too expensive.
So you're not going to be able to retire from your first rental property? Retire from your 9 to 5 from your first rental property? Are you telling me that?
Well, you know, I think I was making,
That's what they say online.
right, I think I was making $100, I was making $50. Okay, that's it. I was making $50. This tenants are giving me hell. And if all the stars are aligned, I make $50. Okay, I'm sure most people would say, well,
Yes. Speaking of most people, right? You're new. This is your first time doing this. You are hanging on to the seeds that, you know, your former boss told you.
Yeah.
Did you have anyone that was like, I told you not to do that?
oh,
See, why don't you just invest your money in something else? Why are you doing this? Did you have anyone?
yeah, because there's always people saying, don't do this. Real estate is a scam. It's a fad. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. And $50, what the hell are you doing? You know, why are you going through this with $50? Well, you know, why? And but I knew the power of real estate, and I knew that over time, the asset would increase in value.
Yeah.
And I knew that it's just a matter of time. I didn't know how long it was going to be. But that thing I bought for $49,000, and it's 87, so quite a few years ago. And then 10 years later, it was like 140,000. And people were saying, when I bought that thing for 49, people were telling me, you're paying too much. You're getting ripped off. You're getting scammed. Who in the world want to pay this kind of money for this house? Okay, so 10 years later, it's now 150. Okay, who in the hell want to pay 150,000? 10 years later again, it's now 350. Who in the hell want to pay 350? You know, come to today, 700,000. Who the hell want to pay? I mean, the idea, the point is that it's always expensive at the time. Okay, and then, but if you hold on to it, 10 years later, you're thinking, what in the world was I thinking? I should have bought more then, because now it's expensive.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sure many of us will have the same conversation in 10 years from now, in 2035, okay, and you're going to be thinking, what in the hell was I thinking when I didn't buy this stuff in 2025,
Yes.
when it was cheap?
Yes.
Okay, it's always expensive, but the power of real estate in many markets is that it increases in value over time. So the key is to be able to get in and always, obviously survive during these ups and downs during that period of time, so you can realize the true power of real estate.
That's perfect. I love what you just said, survive. So there's data that shows that 70% of real estate investors, small landlords, in the first 5 years quit. Did y'all know that? 70% of small landlords in the first 5 years quit. So based on your 3 decades of experience, what would you say separates the people who quit from the people who don't?
Good
What are some
question.
things you notice?
One of the things is, if you don't have systems in place, I know it's a generic term, but curveballs always happen. Things happen, you know, you get a call out of the blue, you know, a situation occurs that requires money, extra money, a situation occurs whereby you got to deal with an irate tenant, you got a situation whereby a tenant doesn't want to pay you, and so on. So all these things hit you from nowhere sometimes. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people quit. It's just that it's, you know, and then you're making all this for $100, $200, $300, $500. You know, why? You know, and therefore it may not seem worthwhile. So you just leave it and try something else.
Yeah.
And but then you know, but the power of real estate is that you can get cash flow, you can get appreciation, you get tax benefits, and over time you can leverage that asset.
Yeah.
That one house which I bought, I got a home equity line on that house, which then allowed me to buy more houses. So that one asset allowed me to get more. $50 is now $4,800. You so I say over time, and that's what time does for you. But if you don't survive during that time, you're going to quit and you won't realize all those benefits.
What I also hear is that you went from when you first started looking at this asset of making $50 a month to then, as you began shifting to an investor mindset, you didn't look at the asset at just what you were making per month. You looked at it from a holistic standpoint.
Yeah.
You mentioned how it helped you to save money in taxes. You mentioned how it actually helped you to gain equity.
Yes.
Those are things that's really important that I see where people fall off and they quit because they're just looking at how much they're making per month.
Yes.
And that is a very small portion of the reward that you have for investing in real estate. So at the times when fear is coming up, you had that unexpected call. You just bought this house, you poured all your money into it, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting started,
Yeah.
and you unexpectedly have like a really big repair that you didn't anticipate, and you begin being afraid. Fear, all this stuff is creeping up. How were you able to get to a place of still making decisions and moving forward, even when things felt like very uncertain?
Well, I didn't quit my job straight away, so I had an income stream coming through. Okay, so I wasn't living off of $50.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a job, and that job provided a regular income stream.
Yep.
And so it allowed me to not rely totally on that. And the second house I bought, what happened was I bought that house specifically because of the fact that it had a basement, which I could rent out, and also it had 3 bedrooms upstairs. I lived in 1 bedroom, rented 2 out, rented the basement out. So essentially I lived there for free.
House hack.
It was
house hacking.
It was house hacking before house hacking was
Yes.
created, okay?
Yes.
And I just wanted to know, because at that point I realized this thing can work. Once I got over that Jesus lady,
Just say, pray about your rent.
once I got over the Matthew 28 verse, once I got over that experience, I realized that this thing can work, okay? But I needed to save money. And the largest expense that most people have is housing.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to save money if your housing expense is high. So I had to realize I had to drive my housing costs down. And so I bought that house specifically for that reason, so I can rent part of it out. So essentially I was living there for free, and therefore I was saving money from my job, which then allowed me to buy house number 3, 4, and 5, and so on. So, I knew that this thing could work. I knew that it's just a matter of time. And I knew that I needed to put certain things in place, certain systems in place, finding tenants, screening tenants, managing relationships. And I stumbled upon Section 8, which we can talk about how that works. But I realized that, yes, I can do this. The doubt had sort of slowly but surely fizzled out. And I wanted to do this, and I wanted to be able to transition out of my 9 to 5. I really did want to do that. I was doing a lot of travel, and I didn't enjoy it anymore, and I just wanted the time to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's good. And you actually segue right into my next question, is you talk about the boring things and how a big part of you being able to last for 3 decades is that you've created systems that help you to take care of the boring things. What's an example of one of those boring things that you've done consistently that's paid off over the years?
If you're going to do buy and hold investing, okay, then no matter what the bottom line is you're going to have tenants, okay? Someone's going to have to bring you revenue. Someone's going to have to bring you income. And I realized that if you can have good tenants, then this job or this business becomes it's less stressful. If you don't have good tenants, you're not going to survive. That's really the bottom line. And so I realized that I needed to have systems in place where I can weed out and screen for good tenants. And that's what I do. So, for example, I really took the time to understand Section 8. I took the time to understand the Section 8 voucher holders, the tenants, because there's a stereotype. Section 8 tenants, they're going to destroy your house. There's non-stop drama. You got to collect rent with a bulletproof vest. Dodge the bullets. You get cursed out. I mean, that's the stereotype. I'm not saying it's not true. Okay. What I'm saying is that it doesn't apply to all voucher holders. There's a lot of voucher holders who are no different than you and I. They want the same thing that you and I want, and they want a decent place to live. They want to be safe. They want to rent from a good landlord, and so on. So my thing was, I needed to take the time to understand what they want, what they don't want, where they want to live, where they don't want to live, who they want to rent from, who they don't want. I mean, all that kind of stuff to understand the customer. And once I did that, then I said, okay, then let me start having products, houses that target them, that meet their needs, and hopefully, if I can find these folks and I can treat them well, then they'll stay a long time. Okay, and my longest tenant is 28 years.
Hold on. Let's say that again. One more time. Repeat that. How long was your longest tenant?
My longest tenant is 28 years.
That's huge.
Now listen to this one. On a 15-year mortgage. Okay, think about that one. Okay, Think about that. That's pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have 20-year tenants, 18-year tenants, 15-year tenants. I'm averaging 7.5 years per tenant.
That's beautiful.
Across the portfolio. Okay, that's not an accident. That's the strategy. That's a calculated strategy based on understanding the needs of your customer, which in the case of these tenants, what they want, where they want to live, and what kind of landlord I have to be so they want to continuously rent from me. And I have to screen so I can find the quality tenants that will reciprocate that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I mean, you know, when you were a teenager, well, many of you probably, you know, if somebody gave you a new car when you were a teenager, okay, you know, I know my kids, they're probably joyride and have a good time, you know. They're just not mature enough to understand the responsibilities that goes with that vehicle, okay? However, if you give that new car to somebody who's older, who maybe didn't have a car before, had a beat-up car, they're going to value this opportunity that they've given. They're going to treat it differently. They're going to respect it and you know, and conduct themselves differently. So the same thing with the voucher holders. If you give a beautiful house in a beautiful area to somebody who's not ready, they could just as well destroy your house.
Yeah.
They're just not psychologically, emotionally ready for this opportunity. However, if you give that same house to somebody else who's lived in rented from a slumlord, who's lived in a bad area, whose kids aren't safe, they're going to treasure this opportunity that you're providing them, and they're going to conduct themselves completely different. So that's a screening. So that way you can avoid the people who are going to destroy your house and focus on those people who are going to treasure your house, and that's what the whole thing is all about. If you can find those people, and they're out there, then they stay. They take care of your house. I mean, it's a blessing.
I was going to say, I love to hear you talking about the social impact part of it. Can you share a story of how the housing that you've been able to provide for your tenants have become life-changing? Because we know how it's been life-changing for you now, but how has it also been life-changing for them?
Okay, I'll give you two examples. As part of my screening process, I go to people's houses, okay? I mean, I want to go to your house. My experience is that how you keep your house today is how my house is going to be in 3 months. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you got a good job, you got a nice car, you got nice clothes. That's got nothing to do with how you keep your house. And so as part of that process, I go visit the home. So anyway, one lady, I went to her home. She lived in Washington, D.C., pretty tough part of town. And she said to me, Mr. Joseph, don't judge me by where I live, okay? Because I have no control over that, okay? Judge me by what's inside my house, because I can control that. And the house is immaculate. The kids were respectful. They conduct themselves very, very well. And she said to me, if you give me a chance to rent your home, I promise you, I absolutely promise you, you'll never, ever regret that decision. My biggest worry every day is my kids coming home and getting killed, shot at. Okay, that's her fear. I mean, many of us worry about, you know, is our ice too cold on the water? You know, is the Starbucks too hot? She's worried about her kids getting killed coming home from school. Okay, and so that's the back of her mind. And she just wanted the opportunity to live in a nice home in a nice area. And that's what we can do. Another story would be, I spoke to another tenant. She said, Mr. Joseph, I need to tell you that I've been renting for you for 8 years now. And because my kids are in a better area, they got better friends, go to different schools, better neighbors. 2 of them have got a full ride to go to college.
Wow.
Okay, so yes, we can make money. Okay, we all can make money through real estate, but I think that we can also make a difference in other people's lives, and that's the beauty of if you mix the two together, and you can mix the two together. I mean, Section 8 is a great program. There's never been a month in 35 years where my rent wasn't paid.
Wow.
In
Wow.
35 years, that money gets hit on your account like clockwork. So you can now plan based on that income stream. You can now say, okay then, I mean, the tenant pays a portion of the rent and the government pays most of the rent. Okay, so if you are living in a $3,000 neighborhood, which is in Washington is no big deal. I mean, I'm getting rents for $4, $5, $6, I know you'll believe me, $7,000. Okay, and out of that is the tenant's portion maybe $300, $400, $500. Okay.
Wow.
So if you are living in a $3,000 area and you are paying $300,
You got the golden ticket.
how long do you want to live there?
Never leaving.
This is not rocket science, okay? It's not rocket science once you figure it out. So if your goal is to live there forever and you're the landlord, The landlord's goal is to have zero turnover because turnover is very expensive when people leave. You got to paint the place again, you got to clean it again. I mean, any landlord will tell you. It kills your profits,
Yeah.
your cash flow. So if you can drive that turnover cost to zero, then that cash flow stays in your pocket. And on top of that, if you have tenants who are going to take care of your house, then they're protecting that investment that you have, the asset that you have.
Right.
And now you can realize the full power of real estate.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the Section 8 program. And I mean, there's a lot more to it, which I can talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
But this is the high-level view of it all. You can mix making money by also a social impact, and you can make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And we'll touch on this for a second. I know, and you're gonna have an opportunity to go deeper tomorrow. But now we're in what's a nice way of saying this? We're in unprecedented times. And every other day, there's something new since January 2025.
Yes.
At least right now, this administration, this leg of the administration. And, I keep hearing Section 8 is going away, Section 8 is going away, Section 8. What do you think? I mean, again, 3 decades. Things are a little different now,
sure,
but
sure.
Are you worried that it's going to go away? What are your concerns? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I've been through during that time, many administrations, and so you hear the same, mantra every so often.
Okay.
We need to eliminate this program, and so on. I mean, the bottom line is this. If I have a family of 5 or 6, let's say, let's say there's 6 people that rent my house, I may have a 3 or 4 bedroom voucher. If there's no Section 8 program, then the cost of that family being homeless, is much more than what they pay me in rent. That's number one. So, the cost of, shelters, the human cost of that, homeless families. So if a public policy is to put women and children on the streets, if that's a public policy, which I don't think it is,
Yeah.
okay, then these families have to live somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's cheaper to pay rent to me than it is to have that family elsewhere. I mean, that's just the bottom line in terms of cost.
Yeah.
And but there will be some changes definitely to the program, and I can talk about that probably tomorrow in a bit more detail because I've been through this before.
Yeah.
And the impacts of cuts. There's going to be cuts in funding, which is going to have an impact on the program. It's going to have an impact on the participants. It's going to have an impact on the landlords, and I have an idea how it plays out.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about it.
That's good.
If that's to answer your question, I'm not worried about it at all.
That's good. One of the beautiful things about
And I'm not delusional.
Yes.
Okay, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just saying that I've maybe not this extreme, but I've been through this several times. I have an idea how it plays out.
Yes. Yes. One of the beautiful things about being a part of the Owning and Living a Community is that Dr. Joe is a part of the Owning and Living community, very much so. And yes, and Mexico, during our mastermind retreat, we actually dedicated that retreat to help prepare for what is happening now. And so, again, with me, I'm the kind of person where I'm not going to feel like I know everything. I'm going to always bring around more people that can share and leverage their experience too. So I love that. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Yeah, because I've been through downturn cycles many times, 6 or 7 of them, okay, and including a couple of crashes. And there's, if you believe in real estate, you're going to rent, okay? So you either rent to a market renter, a regular person, or you rent to a voucher holder, someone getting assistance. And there's nothing worse than you have a great tenant who's just lost their job, okay, and they can't pay you now. It's a very uncomfortable discussion you're going to have. I mean, they're good people. They just can't pay the rent. So what do you do?
Right.
Okay, what do? You want to help them out, but you still got a mortgage to pay. You still got taxes to pay, and so on. And I'd rather be in a situation whereby I have a reliable income stream. 2 of my tenants have lost their jobs during the shutdown, with the government shutdown and Doji and all that kind of stuff going on. And what happened? What happened was that they went to the housing authority, and their income went down. Because their income went down, the housing authority's portion went up. Okay, so instead of paying, let's say, $500, they now pay $100, and the housing authority picks up the difference.
Yeah.
That makes sense? So what it means is that it doesn't matter if they lose their job. I mean, kind of a roundabout way, you want them to lose their job. Yeah, kind of, but yeah. There's no disincentive if they don't lose. For me, because of the fact that my income would still be the same. It's just that their portion goes
Yeah,
It varies. So you have that level of stability during these recessionary times. And this is the difficult part, is because fads come and go. What's hot today is cold tomorrow.
This is for the living it people who have like squirrel syndrome, where you're confident, you're hearing good, you're taking advantage of the benefits of real estate, and now you hear about a new strategy, and now you're about to jump on that new strategy. This is for you.
Yeah, it's the shiny object syndrome, and it's always something looks better, and then you go chasing that, and you realize not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
It's hard work, whatever you do. Making money is hard work. Okay, there's nothing easy about it. So I just want to know that every month my money's coming in. Because then I can plan about it. I can not worry about certain things. I can survive COVID. I can survive downturns. I can survive a crash. I can survive all these things. And because I've got an asset that I know at some point is going to appreciate in value, but I just need to survive.
Yeah.
And you can't survive if that cash flow doesn't come in.
Yeah.
Because those expenses still come in.
They sure
But if
do.
the income's not
Every
coming
month.
in, you're going to be wiped out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I've been able to I can talk about cycles, because I've seen cycles many, many times.
Yeah.
And I've seen people who are hot, when the market is good, they're great, and saying all these great things because the market's good. Okay, but you really see who's
real.
Who's swimming naked when the tide goes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You really do see that.
Yeah.
And that's what downturns do. They're ugly.
Yeah.
you know.
But there's opportunity.
But there are opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, wealth changes, transfers.
Yes.
Which side of the equation are you going to be on?
And we're going to actually talk about this more. You guys hear him saying cycles and things like that. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow, too, where there's a graph that actually shows you the best time to buy, the best time to sell based on a cycle. Real quick, Dr. Joe, because we're going to have some questions here in a second. So if you have questions for Dr. Joe, you're going to have opportunity to come up to the mic and ask questions in just a moment. And you can actually go ahead and walk up if you know you have a question for Dr. Joe in a minute. Let's talk about the freedom that wealth has brought you. You mentioned wanting to leave your 9-to-5 eventually because you just wanted to be able to wake up and decide and do what you wanted to do, right? And now you're on this travel for a year situation and living your best life. So my question is, if you could go back all over again and do it again, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently and why?
Okay. I would have started earlier. I mean, I waited 2 years from when I arrived in the U.S. to when I bought my first house. I probably would have started earlier, which I did now. And I probably would have bought more when it was cheap.
But they said it was expensive? Yeah.
You know, I probably would have kept more. I flipped some houses. And there are pros and cons with flipping. There's nothing wrong with flipping. I've flipped some houses. But I now have serious regrets about selling some houses. You know, there's some streets in Washington I refuse to go down because it's too painful. You know? I mean, I'll tell you, this lady is in the mid-90s. She wanted $126,000 for a house. $126,000. Okay, I offered her $120,000. So we were haggling over $6,000. Okay, $6,000. I said no deal.
You got emotional.
I said no deal. It's either $120,000 or nothing. So I walked away. Houses are on that block now going to nearly $2 million.
Wow.
Okay, so for $6,000, okay, and you know, and that's the point.
Yeah.
It's always expensive at the time, you know. But you know, I'm sure we all can say, wherever you live, you can say, if only I knew what I know now, I would have bought this stuff 10 years ago when it was quote cheap in our neighborhood or whatever you want to call it. Okay, it is what it is. So there's some of the regrets. Because again, there's nothing wrong with flipping. It's a good strategy if you need to get some cash. So I'm not saying anything wrong about it. But I flipped some houses. I spent the money. I don't know where it went. It's gone. You know, it's gone.
Yes.
You know, when you get money. Money has a way of kind of drifting out your pockets. It's gone. I have nothing to show for it. Nothing. But these houses I've kept, I have something tangible, something physical, which I have to show for it. And it's an asset class. It's a legacy that you can pass on. Yeah. It's wealth that you can leverage, and it's something, you know, now I can do. It allows me to do things which I couldn't do if I didn't have them.
Right.
It gives me options,
Yeah.
and I think that's what we all want. We want options to do what it is that we want to do, on our terms.
Yeah.
And this is what it's allowed me to do. And I think it can allow all of us to do.
Yes.
You know, it's not easy, but it's not impossible, not at all.
So, did you have, like, when you were going through the hard time and the owning it phase, we say that's the hard time when you're building, but you're not making a ton of money, but
Sure.
you're just, you're trying to stay steady. Did you have someone you can call? Did you have a mentor? Like, and looking back, would you have done it the same way? What are your thoughts?
I didn't have any mentors, okay. Apart from the guys on commercials,
Yes, Robert
today on this
Kiyosaki or
special,
somebody. Yeah.
just call, they have an infomercial with Hawaii in the background,
Yes.
You too can live this life.
Right.
just call 1-800,
Yes.
whatever it is. I mean, so they were my quote unquote. I bought some courses for those guys, but I didn't have any mentors locally, and so I kind of winged it. I made a lot of mistakes, which I now realize they were mistakes. I rented to tenants from hell. Not the first one, more. I didn't know how to screen. Somebody came in, this lady came to my house. Well, this is recent, now I know better. She said to me, it's funny, I had a dream last night. The Lord told me I would fight this house. And this is the house that the Lord told me about. I'm really, really interested. Is it okay if I go in the corner and pray that the Lord will bless me with this home? I mean, this is what she was telling me, okay? And if I was my mother, she would have got the house right there and there.
Give her the house.
She would give the house straight away.
Yes.
No questions asked. Okay, so, I heard it all. She filled the application. She lied about who she was. She lied about her landlord, her previous landlord. She lied about everything.
Yeah.
Okay? And so I didn't know then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be fooled by what people say. And so if I had a mentor, they would advise me, trust but verify.
Yeah.
Don't just trust, but verify.
Yeah.
They would advise me about getting good contractors.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Half my guys, they didn't have a car, so I had to pick them up in the morning.
Oh,
go to
Lord.
Home
Why are you
Depot.
paying them?
Yeah. Go to Home Depot,
They should be paying you.
walk around picking drywall out. I mean, I had to do that because they didn't have a car. And these guys show up drunk. I mean, yeah.
And the mentor would have been like, I'm sorry, you
I'm
should
sorry.
not be taking them
These are
anywhere.
guys, you don't want to mess with these guys. So I mean, I won't even bore you with the story of the wholesaler from hell.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that one. We're going to share that one tomorrow in detail. But yes.
So yeah, I mean, mentors allow you, and because they have experience, and you pick your mentors carefully. You want somebody who's successfully doing what it is that you want to do. Okay, and they have proven track record, not just a couple of TikTok videos. You can check them out and prove that, and you can do the due diligence on it. But a good mentor has experience, has wisdom, has battle scars, and they'll help you navigate this sort of terrain, and hopefully avoid you stepping on landmines. And that's what a good mentor does. And I just didn't have any at that time, and so I had to wing it and step on a couple of landmines myself. But I made it through.
Yep.
But looking back now, the fastest way to get from A to B is a straight line, not this way. You'll get there eventually, but it's faster just to go straight line. And I think somebody who's experienced and somebody who's savvy and someone who's got a proven track record can help you get to where you want to a lot faster.
I love it. I love it. All right. Do we have any questions? Does anyone even have any? If you want to come to the mic, say who you are and what your question is.
Hello, my name is Marcy, and my question, hey, Dr. Joe.
Hi,
my
Marcy.
question is, in this market, would you still advise or suggest to rent to Section 8 people, and why, or why not?
Okay. I rent to Section 8 in this market in downturns. I think it's the best strategy. Why? Because if, people lose, I mean, when you go to a downturn, uncertainty, government shutdowns, and, tariffs and drama every day, it's just too many variables going on. People are looking for stability. Landlords, investors are looking for stability out of this chaos. And, the Section 8 program, I believe, will still continue. Okay? And in maybe a modified version, but it's still going to be continued. And your rent is guaranteed. It's a guaranteed income stream. And I think in a very turbulent times that we're in, you need a source of stable income. Because market renters, it's not always there.
Right.
People lose their jobs all the time, and it's not good. And the other thing though is that when the turn goes through, which is what we're going through now, what's happened in the past is that other landlords now realize that Section 8 is a pretty good program. Okay, so the word's out. Okay, there's guaranteed income stream, so you get more competition. Okay, and because everybody wants that stable income stream, so people that didn't do Section 8 now realize that maybe it's not so bad after all, and so your competition increases, which means that you have to differentiate yourself from your competition. Okay, and I mean we'll talk about that tomorrow, but it's a good program if you understand how to work it, if you understand what the customers, the clients are looking for. I think it's the greatest program since sliced bread.
Thank you, Marcy. Great question.
Hey, Dr. Joe. My name is Gerald Thompson. I got two questions for you.
Sure.
So
I
we're
know
just
you've been
looking to one question for right now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So at what point, how long, when you got started, I know you've been at this for a while now, 35 years, how long did it take you when you got started to finally, for everything to start working together for you to get your systems in place? Like, how many, was it years? Was it, you know?
Yeah, it took a long time. It took, because I was winging. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, and when you don't know what you're doing, you just do what you do. You don't know any better. You don't know what you don't know. Okay, and I stumbled upon Section 8 by accident. You know, I had a house in Washington where I lived at, and this tenant came, this lady came. I lived in this house, okay, and she said to me, "Nice house you have here. I'm not going to rent it from you." I said, "Why?" "Well, you don't have a jacuzzi." Okay, well, you don't have any stainless steel appliances here. You know, you don't have hardwood floors. I mean, this is a Section 8 lady with a net worth of 0. Okay, telling me that my house where I lived at wasn't worthy of her. Okay, I'm saying, what the world's going on here? I mean, I didn't understand it. I understand now what was going on. What was going on is just as Tom Marcy, the market has shifted. Okay, so now flippers who couldn't flip their homes, they had no choice but to reduce their price or rent it. So now I'm in competition with a flipper, who before I would never be in competition with them. They have the jacuzzis, they have the stainless steel appliances, and I didn't. And so she's saying, and her rent is the same whether she goes to the flipper's house or mine, it's the same. So she's saying in a roundabout way. I mean, I don't think she did macroeconomic theory at school, but that's essentially what was going on. She's saying, well, forget you. There's a guy down the street who can't flip his home. I'm going to go to him, not you. You see what I'm saying? Market shifts. So all things change when markets turn around. That's why I'm saying it's if you don't know, it can hurt you bad.
Yeah.
It can throw. So anyway, it took time to put those systems in place. But once I put those in place, then I'm now able to weather these downturns a lot better than if I didn't know.
Do you think it was like 5 years, 10 years? You have any? You remember?
Probably. I think this was 1996. So.
To where you feel like, okay, we're running a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it's probably 10 years since I got a well-oiled machine.
Wow. That's a long
but
time.
if I knew now, if I had started again, to answer your question, it wouldn't take me that long.
Yeah.
Because I'll have an Erica I can go to. I'll have somebody else I can go to. You know what I'm saying? And so I can get to where I need to go to a lot faster than trying to wing it. So yeah, the real estate, there's no need to recreate the wheel. Yeah. There's no need to.
The roadmap is there.
The method's there, the templates are there. Obviously we can't predict every single situation. Yep. But if you do single-family housing in D.C. area, I mean, there are a whole lot of scenarios I haven't seen. Okay, I mean, I've seen a lot. I've evicted somebody whose rent was 0. Wow. Okay, now you hear about that one. That's another day.
Thank you for your question. That's good. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Joe.
Hey.
My name's Arlandria. So my question kind of centers around this idea of house hacking. So my husband and I, we have a single-family home. We live in Indiana, and it's your standard, 4-bedroom.
Sure.
We raised our kids. The kids are gone. They're doing their own thing elsewhere in Washington, D.C., as a matter of fact. And so we had this discussion about what do we do with the home we've been living in for the last 10 years. Okay. And so the question becomes, do we sell it and go buy something else, house hack that way, or do we hold on to it and rent it, or because we have an HOA, so we need to figure that out, but hold on to it so that it appreciates over time and go house hack at the same time. So what are your thoughts? What are your feelings on that?
Okay, so one option is to stay in a home and house hack, and the other option is to keep the home and move to another home and rent that house. Is that?
Yeah, we're moving cities. So we live in Indiana. Indiana time is done in another 2 years. We're coming back home, which is here. And so even if we keep the home, we won't be in the same town as the home. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're a long-distance landlord if you were doing it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
The other thing about long-distance landlord is that you're going to need to have really reliable people
Okay.
locally. Because if you don't have that, it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay.
So I think that you're going to have to take the time to do some due diligence on people locally, either property management companies, either repair people.
Okay.
There are things that you can do now to make sure you get reliable people. If you can get that,
Yeah.
then that's an option. If you can't get that, then it's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
I haven't, without negating, I have never found a management company that's any good.
I haven't either. If you
That's
know
no
me,
disrespect to any management company.
I fired 2 last year. Did you know that?
Too.
2 in the same year.
Yeah, I haven't found one.
Okay.
So it's not easy. In theory, it's straightforward.
Yeah.
Just find somebody, take care of your house, and it's a piece of
Yeah.
cake. But it's hard because their incentives are different, okay, than yours. They get money whenever there's turnover. You don't. You lose money.
Yeah.
And they have profit centers, which are taken out of your money, and so on. So what you have to do, you have to manage the managers, if anything.
Yeah.
And so if you can find good people, I think it may be worthwhile to hold on to it. If you can't, you may want to just do something else.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We just have time for one more question, but Dr. Joe is going to be around all weekend, so
at God.
and he loves to share. So
Thank you. Hi, Dr. Joe, Sheila Darius. Quick question as it relates to technology. What do you envision the future of real estate is as it relates to technology? Are there any tools that you use that you think is really helpful?
Okay.
good question.
I am really into AI. I think it's the greatest thing ever created. It's amazing what you can do. I have a bookkeeper, and she uses QuickBooks, and so she produces reports, and I take that report and put it into different AI tools. Whether it's primarily I use Claude. It's a real good one. I don't know if you use Claude. There's Claude, there's GPT, and there's ChatGPT, and a few other ones as well. But it can take that raw data, and then it can then start doing some analysis on it. It can give you recommendations. It can give you what if. You can do what if scenarios. If this happens, what happens here? I use it a lot to automate some of my process, like for letter generation and corresponding with the tenants. And it's just so I'm into technology. I think technology is great. It can make life easier for you. There are things that I can do now in an hour that would have taken me 5 hours before.
Yeah.
There are things I couldn't do before I can now do. I have a virtual assistant. She's in Ghana. She's not even in the U.S. And I can get a lot done just by that process. So I think that for many of us, we may want to look into how we can leverage technology
Yeah.
to streamline some of the things that we're doing.
Yes.
Because everything's going that way, and you may as well get on the bus.
Absolutely, and even when you were talking about optimizing you were talking about systems, right? And how it took a while to get to systems before you're able to get to a place where you were operating like a well-oiled machine. One of the ways that you're able to extend your longevity to be able to stay in real estate and allow it to become profitable is knowing your numbers. Understanding how much your property is actually making. Like he mentioned that he has someone doing his bookkeeping, things like that. That's one of the things that I see that people don't do, and then they're surprised when they realize they aren't making money and they're ready to quit because they're not taking care of their systems. And I know that's something that is a part of the roadmap, actually the investor roadmap that's constantly is going to be telling you when you need to hire a bookkeeper, what you need to be checking every month from a financial standpoint from your real estate business, because that's very different from your personal finances. Great question. Thank you. Any last words?
Last words. I think that the turbulent times that we're going through creates opportunities. It's easy to get paralyzed into thinking, into inaction, because it's scary. But in hindsight, these are the best times to put an infrastructure in place, to acquire properties if you can, and negotiate hard, especially if you have the ability to get financing, negotiate hard, and then hold on, get good people to stay in your home and ride out the storm.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. Thank you. I love it.